Hello, and welcome to the Kaeoni channel, a channel about games and other stuff that's interesting and funny to me, Kaeoni. I want to talk about my opinions of Final Fantasy XIV in a limited way. You see, I wrote down about 10 to 15 pages of problems and fixes for the game, but those are pretty boring and, in my opinion, better left as, well, a wall of text. If you really do want to hear them, though, let me know. I'll rework them into a more presentable manner for a future video. All I want to talk about in this video is the feels, which is what I believe is the most important element in an MMO. No, I'm not talking about an Aerith or Zack type of feels, which, on a side note, I should probably play Crisis Core again, because that was an amazing game, and I feel like I'm emotionally ready to actually, I don't know, win the final fight. I know it's impossible, but man, that no, never mind. I have the emotional preparedness of Glass Joe's jaw. So yeah, what exactly is it that I'm trying to say then? I think it's best I start from the beginning. I wrote those 10 to 15 pages of problems and solutions amidst a 3-week period of being the most filthy casual I have ever been. I don't know exactly when I wrote them, only that it was 5 a.m. when I finished the night I did. On that last week of 3, about 6 hours from reset, I decided to do Void Arc, and almost immediately I checked out. I have no desire to play the game anymore. I stopped caring entirely. Why? I thought to myself. A passing thought, which I'll get into later if I remember to. I log off, I unsubscribe, and begin to look for my next game. Somehow or another, I'm on the Square Enix online store. Probably because Square Enix was on my mind, I don't know. I scroll down, and I see Final Fantasy XI. It's been a long time since I ever thought about this game. I scroll farther and see the Final Fantasy XI OSTs. Now, I'm a huge fan of Nobuo Uematsu. He's a brilliant composer who's come up with some of the most compelling music in gaming history. A living legend. In my eyes, anyway. I'm sure a lot of other people's. Naturally, the only option to me available at this time was to listen to some Final Fantasy XI music. The first thing to come up from a generic search was Gustaberg. Just like that, memories seemingly locked away by the passage of time remind me of a prior life. One that I once lived in a world called Vana'diel. Most prominent were those camping Leaping Lizzie and the friends I made doing so. Browsing the sidebar on YouTube, I see a video labeled Distant Worlds, which was also called, I believe, Memoro della Stono, Stona? I don't know. Regardless, I have to say the song itself sums up Final Fantasy XI beautifully. A combination of the music and visuals added in by the editor opened the floodgates for me. It's like a tidal wave of memories hit me all at once. It's difficult to really describe, but it's like remembering an entire past life you had in 5 minutes and 30-some seconds. Oh, by the way, I'll leave the links in the description for both of the songs in case you guys are interested in listening to them. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh great, it's another Final Fantasy XI player, drunk on nostalgia. He's going to tell us about why Final Fantasy XI is the best game ever. Hold on to your britches and keyboards for a single second and just hear me out. The last thing I said when I quit Final Fantasy XI, to myself by the way, was no regrets. I played for so many years, and I think most people would look back and regret that kind of experience, but you can't. You do these experiences injustice because there is always something good to be found, even from bad situations or experiences. I met tons of people and made lots of friends playing that game. I refuse to regret that. People are who make MMOs MMOs. Seems pretty obvious, right? Well, no. Look at how Final Fantasy XIV is designed. You can complete the entire game without speaking a single word to anyone. The game doesn't encourage this kind of behavior, but it doesn't discourage it either. Something Final Fantasy XI did well, even way back then, was forcing players to interact and work with one another to complete content, even just to level up. It's a crazy concept, right? Imagine talking to another person you're in a group with. Complete madness. That's not to say fundamental tools such as Duty Finder are bad. No, they're just implemented poorly. Both Final Fantasy XI and XIV are polar opposites. On one side, you can't get anything done without knowing people, and on the other, you can do everything without speaking a single word. It's foolish to think we can't find a middle ground, because that's what really needs to be accomplished if 14 is to survive for years to come. Now, I hear the hardcore pseudo Alexander Savage yelling, saying, "You need to meet people to get Savage done." Yeah, I know, I get it. Well, you're not wrong, and though I think difficult raids are necessary, it's a problem when the game itself teaches players they can do everything essentially themselves, and through Duty Finder, suddenly to find that endgame operates completely different. Now you find yourself at cap level with an average item level of 205, story complete, and you never made a single friend on the way to where you are now. It's not an unrecoverable state to be in, but the game doesn't teach people how to play it properly. All I suggest is enhanced rewards for players to find and group with people on their own server. This radically changes how people interact with one another. I've been in Duty Finder Tomb Grind mode before, and most of the time, people don't even address one another as human beings, never mind simple pleasantries, such as hello or goodbye. I tested it. I always initiate with a greeting. More than 70% of the people I was with in a sample size of 85 dungeons didn't say hello or goodbye. I was just curious, and kind of disappointed, surprised that it was that high. I think game developers need to remember what it means to develop and maintain an MMO. I also believe players need to remember why we play them. If we simply play a solo game in an MMO, it's essentially a watered-down RPG experience, which kind of defeats the purpose. Okay, so, remember when I said I stopped caring? And I asked myself, why? It's the people. I don't care because I have no one to share my experiences with, no one to really bullshit with in-game, nor people to call on or be called on. Never mind real reason to call or be called on. And I think that's part of the problem, but I won't get into that right now. Of course, Party Finder exists, but at any given time, no groups to a maximum of 2 are ever present. I met all my friends on Final Fantasy XI via helping people and doing stuff or events, something 14 sadly lacks and has Duty Finder for. It actually saddens me a little. I think friendships are incredibly special. If you think about it, a real miracle. Take into account how every single one of us is from a different part of the world, playing the same game on the same server, at the same hours of the day. That's crazy talk. And yet, these, I'll call them friendship miracles, though different, happen daily. So, that's what I mean about feels. These special and unique interactions people can have in game, yet simultaneously living thousands of kilometers away. Listen, if you're a player, I beseech you to use Party Finder and discover people to play with on your own server. It may not be as easy as queuing up for Expert Roulette and playing Pokemon for 15 minutes, but your experience will be 100% better spent with people whom you might make a friend out of, can help, be helped, or possibly make an endgame static with. And that's really all I have to say. I believe I covered everything I wanted to cover. So, thanks for hearing me out, everyone. If you liked what you heard, remember to slap that like button to let me know. Leave a comment too. Maybe share the video with a friend. Subscribe. Yeah, you should probably do that. You should probably subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button. You know, it's not hurting anybody. You may as well just touch it. Just touch it a little bit. Just touch it for me. Touch it for me. I mean, let's see how many times we can touch that subscribe button. Just trying to make it feel good. You feel good. I'm not trying to feel you. That's not what I'm trying to say. That's not what I'm trying to say. Okay. I love you, but I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. I gotta work on me. I plan on doing a lot more video game related like content regularly, so yeah, you should definitely hit that subscribe button. Not sexually or anything like that, but for other reasons, like the content. Okay, bye.